I see fields of green, red and rose. This is a message to trans and non-binary people across the United States. To the parents.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, they can try a lot of way out. No, but I think that in some ways they may know because they speak more Spanish to keep their mouth shut. You don't like plants, but you don't do nickel. Right. So my children actually got pushed forward with so I actually was in the store for the day, but I didn't realize when I got pushed because we're buying it.
We're going through the 2027. She didn't draw that property. Unless it's in the bill out. So I don't know. I'm gonna check it.
I don't know if you have time now or where he went. He said I was sitting in the other night I found the pile of hair. Yeah. So I was there, going to Taliban and walk. Oh, there he is. And they somehow put out the that I was like, but I'm really proud to be able to go to two class there. I'm sorry, you gotta bring that business.
Hey. Yeah. Helen, I got that shirt first year of school. Like, I'm never gonna win. You want this shirt?
Y'all got sorted?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. So, good morning.
I got it. That's great.
Isn't it?
That is fantastic.
There you go. Yep.
They had a lot of services, but the and so they didn't have their own office, and it was sometimes hard to separate the like programming exclusively targeted at like racial minority students from the like programming for gay students, right? Which is larger and more complicated than the program, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, yeah. So like the way that, yeah, so, but nonetheless, yeah, so Xander's doing very well right now. The new meds seem to be working better than the old meds. Excellent. And so that's exciting. You can self-administer the new meds instead of having to go to the infusion center. So that's good. So like health-wise, she's like very, very good. Let's see. Hanging out, playing a lot of video games.
Good morning, folks.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi there. Do we want to check the audio level for the Are we sharing the screen and are we set up for audio? I can check the audio level of the music.
Yeah, and Helena's, did I tell you she had an internship up in Columbus? So the Westerville Public Library is, it's a single branch library in a satellite city in Columbus. And she put a resume into that.
Hi there.
Beginning.
Can you hear me,
I
Jesse?
can. Yes, I can.
Okay, so Steve's ready. He can't unmute because then he would get static from
Oh, yeah.
France.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. No, and I'll go and I'll play the first video and then we'll just check on the sound level.
Okay.
She don't like. And they all said they don't really have.
I see fields of green, red roses too.
What do you
I
think,
see
Steve?
them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself.
And how is the sound out of the speakers?
Very well.
Seems good? Yeah, seems good. Can you hear
Okay.
it? Sound seems good?
What?
The sound seems good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I was
Okay.
just saying, he's one of the American Idol winners.
Here, let's check the other real quickly.
This is a message to trans and non-binary people across the United States, to the parents of trans and non-binary kids, and to everyone who's showing up at state legislatures across.
How does that sound?
It's a little, the video is a little choppy.
It's gonna be choppy.
Yeah.
I can do I can change the share, but the video's always going to be choppy until we don't try to do it through Zoom.
Okay.
So here I'll do it again, optimize for video,
Okay.
and then this should be a little bit better.
Across the country, fighting the wave of anti-trans legislation that's sweeping this nation.
It's better.
I see.
It's a little quiet,
Putting
Jesse.
our faith into action with your
you said, yeah,
unwavering
The
love
sounds good here.
in the worth
Okay.
and dignity of trans kids. And we are here to remind you.
I'll see
that
if I
you are
can
not alone.
And you should
turn
know
up
that
the sound a little bit.
unitary
Karen says it's
across
a
the
little bit
country,
soft.
We have your back.
It's so hard right now. I read the stories of legislatures and politicians and people seeking attention, using your lives, your heart, your body.
And that is about as loud as I can go.
How are you?
Good, missed you.
It's fine.
Okay.
Work really, really
And
hard.
check this video.
And then last Sunday, I didn't have a video.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong.
From here. But then
How does
I
that sound?
decided-
Does that sound too loud or did that one sound good?
Well, if it's too loud, y'all can turn it down up there, over there.
Oh, Steve says he'll take care of it here, so.
Yep, yeah.
Sounds good.
And, 20
Okay.
I was so.
So, Dina is not here yet. And just in case, I'm going to try to put the Google Slide notes on this computer.
Yeah.
I also have them right here.
I did chat with her this morning.
We'll use those.
And so she knows she's supposed to be.
Do you want to do it or does not want to do it if she doesn't show up?
I can do it, but
Athena's is right here online.
Oh, Dina's online. Okay.
oh,
Is she wanting to, I don't see,
is she expecting to be service leader this morning?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Great. Hi, Dee.
Hi there. I am so sorry. We had all kinds of, well, phone is in her bag of rice right now. It's just
okay.
that.
Is everything okay now, Thina?
Yep. Well, I mean, the phone's in the bag of rice, but yes, other than that, everything's. Okay.
This is very echoey and difficult, the sound. Dina,
Echoey or,
no, it's not you, it's here in the room.
oh, okay.
Athena,
Yes, ma'am.
shall I lead joys and concerns?
I would love that.
Okay. So I'll do that and then hand it back to you,
Sounds wonderful.
unless you want me to do announcements as well.
That's up to you. I'm happy to do it.
Let's see. Oh, no, we sing after joys and concerns. So then you take it up after announcements and close it all out.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
There is a reading right before Mike's part. So you all can decide who wants to do that. Two, maybe?
I could do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do it.
And Reverend Denise,
Yes.
the closing song is Now Let Us Sing. That's that two-part thing.
Yeah, and I don't know how to do it in two parts, so,
Fran has done it, we've done it before, so.
okay. Great. Cool. So I don't need to know anything about that.
Okay,
Great.
perfect. Thank you both, all.
Thank you. And I'm so sorry, everybody.
No, it's okay.
Right, and I'm not one who's afraid when they were like, you know.
Oh, good, we are obviously flexible.
In the month of May, because May is actually bringing down awareness month. What other good days there? Where's something where we're celebrating people in general?
Get Fran looking pretty.
Yeah, Fran looks nice.
But I can't say I particularly like the chocolate, but I hate it because it was the first day. Because they gave me crayon. Imagine me trying to get into it. I had to grab the little thing and I had to then stand up and then I had to kind of slide myself down into the car. It was like really hilarious. This one, I grabbed the door, I grabbed the steering wheel, and I kind of. I'm like, much better, and like.
Not the ideal vehicle for you.
Yeah.
So who wants to light the chalice then? Because I obviously can't do it. I'm here.
I can do it.
Thank you. And who was that?
Gina. Gina.
Gina. Okay, thank you, Gina.
You're welcome.
Do you, I'll read the intro.
That's the names of the two. Like the meter.
Yeah.
And then at work, because I can't actually use my vehicle for delivery, they actually had me even in several of it, but they don't really have any hours for next week. And I was like, but then they said, if you can get a car as soon as possible, we can stick you back out on the road because we're desperate for drivers right now. Because there's one driver Friday night before my car accident, his mother, did you hear about the car accident that happened Friday and the person instantly died on the car? We don't even know when he'll come back to work or anything else. Cause this was his second job.
Was he driving with the money?
No, the mother was driving. She got in a car accident that was here in Nashville. That was, Friday night. Not yesterday, but a week ago. And she instantly died.
Oh, wow.
So if it couldn't have been any worse, we're down to drivers. And we've been asking other stores, other places, like, we've been asking people, can you work extra? We need to make up for it. We've asked everyone when they go out on orders. Okay, 2 orders at a time, 3, 4, 5. However many you can do. Like, we're down drivers, we're just trying to piece everything together.
More chairs, right?
Helping
Not
back
ever, but since COVID, right?
I was washing dishes.
Did something happen?
I was doing it for both, and I was getting some of the sauce from yesterday, and I was like, is there anything else you want? Then someone goes, oh, we have all these labels, and we're a little bit slow at the moment, the dishes can pile up. And I was like, oh, man, I actually like being over the dishes.
I'm your living prop.
To hear what this guy over here is going to say. I was gonna say, you. It was once alive.
It was a flower peddler or something.
Yeah.
The ancestors that was saying it's okay.
Right.
Yeah, somebody who's already gone past and they're proud that we're having a service today.
To go, that could be. You ready?
And so.
Yeah. Ish.
Great. I'm not worried about you.
I got it this morning and revised it.
We'll be revising this probably. While you're standing there.
Well, yeah, that is.
I do that sometimes, it's like, no, I'm not. Well, good luck.
You can tell when we have a super. They sit.
I know, right? Exactly.
Looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's a live service. There was some other things with it, but I think they're much shorter, and I think instead of their weeds that they come on the right, they look very similar, but they don't think they're growing, but the main one is budding up. I mean, I'm not no flowers, it's insane. I have one daylily that just yesterday decided to bloom one daylily, nothing, my whole flowers are like, it's like, I plant things. And if the dogs don't get them,
honestly.
it's like they just stay in the same state, they're not growing. Have you ever had that happen? And they don't die and they don't grow. They can be this big for a month.
I got it.
They call it pride, so it's really cool. You know,
My sunflower plant, I planted it.
not binary or whatever, all the churches.
I don't understand how they don't seem to even get the seeds. My pepper seeds, I planted pepper seeds right around about 6 weeks ago. They sprouted, germinated, one set of leaves, same set of leaves, still there, 6 weeks later. This day, one set of leaves. No, they're not dying. Never, I think you either bloom or die, grow or die. Or just, something's going on in my yard. I might be a little.
Yeah, like 3 for 1, very, very well known.
Oh.
But after one of these, everybody being different.
I think there's a guy who well, I've been able to do that. It's hilarious. I tried, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I put this thing around it, land it in the town, whatever it came up, said,
Shall we get started?
I see fields of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I'll watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dina Berry, and I will be your service leader today. I am coming to you live from the Antioch, Tennessee congregation. So sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties this morning, but we are here and very happy to be here. This week we are celebrating the Gay Pride, and we will be visited by Mike Morgan, our very own Mike Morgan. And I'm very excited to hear what he is going to share with us today. I'm having a little trouble with my script, so give me 1 second here. We are going to light the chalice today, and Gina will actually do the lighting for us. Give me 1 second while I fix my script problem here. Oh man, I'm sorry. Can I get someone else to read the chalice lighting?
We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace. For those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate. For those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate our kaleidoscope of diversity, working, loving, and living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
At GNUUC, we live in covenant with each other. I invite you, as you are available, to stand or sit as we read with me our covenant. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed as we work to build a better world. Our first hymn today is Gather the Spirit, and you'll find it in your gray hymnal as number 347, or you can look up at the screen where we have the lyrics for you. Brian, and I invite you to stand or sit as you are so moved. Our Share the Plate partners for June is the Foothills Unitarian Church Side with Love. We'll hear a message about love and solidarity with trans and non-binary people.
This is a message to trans and non-binary people across the United States, to the parents of trans and non-binary kids, and to everyone who's showing up at state legislatures across the country, fighting the wave of anti-trans legislation that's sweeping this nation. We see you.
I see you putting our faith into action with your unwavering love and belief in the worth and dignity of trans kids. And we are here to remind you that you are not alone.
And you should know that Unitarian Universalists across the country, we have your back.
It's so hard right now. I read the stories of legislatures and politicians and people seeking attention, using your lives, your heart, your body as political pawns, as punching bags, literal and figurative.
Fearing politicians will use your kids as political pawns, will force you to move states, uprooting your lives, all because you want your kids to thrive, to receive medically necessary health care, to play sports, to be themselves, to be safe, to feel loved and wanted as they deserve.
It is exhausting and frustrating. It is scary sometimes.
Every day you are feeling the weight of hateful lies pushing on you and on those kids that you love. We see you showing up to protest and to testify and to organize and to lobby. Thank you for showing up for our values. Thank you for fighting for trans and non-binary kids. And I know that for you, just like for me, this isn't some kind of abstract agenda.
There are folks in my congregation here who are trans, who are non-binary, who are going to be the direct recipients of the work that you're doing.
Thank you from trans members of my congregation. Thank you from parents of trans kids in my congregation.
Thank you for being in this when everything feels like it's arrayed against you, when it feels like you take one step forward and two steps back. It gives me hope that you're out doing this work, as draining as it can be sometimes. We see you and we care for you, and we're so, so grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
At Unitarian Universalism, we believe that every person is beautiful as they are and as they are becoming.
That your life is sacred, your body is sacred, just as you are, and that they're wrong. They're wrong, they're cynical, they want you to give up, and love is stronger than their fear.
Too often, people of faith end up on the side of hatred and discrimination towards LGBTQ+ people. But that ends here.
Trans kids are not political pawns. Trans kids are divine.
That was an absolutely beautiful statement. And let me correct myself here. That was our time for all sages. I am so sorry. So our June Share the Plate partner for this month is Tennessee Equality Project. The Tennessee Equality Project Foundation provides educational and awareness programming in Tennessee to advance the inclusion and equality of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people in our state. They monitor and analyze state legislation related to the LGBTQ community, conduct voter registration, advocacy training, sensitivity training, and work against bullying. They also educate the public about state preemption of local government. TEP Foundation lists mental health providers in Tennessee do not discriminate based on sexual orientation or gender identity, and who provide affirmative services in regard to sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. Please read over the ways you can give while Fran plays the offertory. This is a protest and a party by Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. People sometimes ask, is Pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, of course, yes. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? Let's bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands, bring your glitter, bring your Supreme Court broken heart, bring your rainbow socks, bring your emptiness you feel for our siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix, bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow, bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. And with that, I am going to turn the mic over to one of my most treasured GNUUC folk. We celebrate GNUUC with Summer Song, a time where members of our congregation and community may share their thoughts and experiences with us, where we learn a bit more about each other and where we have the opportunity to celebrate each other's wisdoms. And today, we are very happy to welcome our very own Mike Morgan, who will speak on Gay Pride. Over to you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How nice. Oh, very nice. I have a subtitle for my talk today, and it only really applies to part of it. But the subtitle is Why We Have to Talk About It. I'm Mike, and I am gay. That's the G in LGBTQ, in case you didn't know. I'm here to talk about Gay Pride Month. Gay Pride Month is based on the Stonewall Uprising in New York City in June 1969. That's almost exactly the time that I was moving to Nashville and to Tennessee with my family, but I didn't know anything about this uprising. It was a rebellion led by drag queens in response to police harassment of patrons of the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar. Just note here that all of our current attention toward drag queens is not without purpose, because they have been our leaders. So you go for the leadership, right? I think that's significant. Those are very courageous people and have been our leaders from the very beginning. To give you a sense of the times, until 1966, it was unlawful to serve alcohol to LGBTQ people in New York State. New York, I think of as one of our most liberal states. In 1966 in New York, it was still illegal to engage in gay behavior, which was defined as holding hands, kissing, or dancing with someone of the same sex in public. In addition, New York had a gender-appropriate clothing statute, and female officers would take patrons who were suspected of cross-dressing into the bathroom to check their sex. Let's hope that history does not repeat itself. those drag queens have a reputation even more impressive than dykes on bikes. And I was always impressed with dykes on bikes. At First UU of Nashville, which I joined in 1988, a very, very nice Jewish woman and longtime member said, "I don't have any problem with gay and lesbian people, but why do you have to talk about it so much?" It wasn't a question, but a complaint. I don't remember a response from the small group I was in, but I certainly remember her statement. Why do we have to talk about it so much? I have answers. It's a major theme for what I have to say today. I have a little subtopic here. It's called, Who Are Your People? I've told this story before. Through Vanderbilt University AIDS Clinical Trials Center, where I worked, I came to know a straight Black male study participant about my age. So it was unusual he was straight. More unusual, he was about my age. And HIV positive, of course. He would often tell me fascinating stories that I really liked. I liked stories. And it wasn't unusual for him to say, he was one of your people. And it never failed. I always thought he meant it was somebody who was gay. Those were my people. He always meant it was someone who was white. That was the factor that was significant to him. Today, just for today, maybe always, I'm going to take my people to mean LGBTQ plus people. As I do that, I want you to understand that you are my people. You are my people. I wear a chain. You probably don't see it. I never take it off. I sleep in it. It's our UU symbol. You are my people. I think that a discussion of who are your people is worth talking about at some point, but I'm not going to go into that today. I feel presumptuous to speak on behalf of such a large group as the LGBTQ plus group. I am a G, but there are also L's and B's and T's and Q's and other things as well. If much of what I say is personal, understand I'm just trying to stay within the realm of what I'm qualified to talk about. I find talking about painful things decreases their power over me. I found myself telling this story last Sunday here at church, and I had never really talked about it before. I hate talking on the phone. I hate talking on the phone. As a young person, people would say to me, little girl, can I speak to your mother? And even now, yes, ma'am. I said, I am not a ma'am. I got tired of fighting that battle. I just roll with it, But you think about what are the long-term effects of these things. I'm a perfect example. I hate the phone. I hate talking on the phone. I will write you an email any day in the week rather than have to talk to you. And that's why. It's nothing wrong with you. I have another example. My family owned a small cottage on the North Carolina coast, And that's where we spent all of our vacations. It wasn't much of a cottage, but we owned it. So that's where we went. When I was about 13 years old, my brother was about 4 years older than me, so he was about 17. Mom pushed us and pushed us and pushed us to go to a pavilion where teenagers gathered to dance and meet other teenagers. Her intentions were good, but my peer group was not very positive towards me ever. I wasn't butch. And when I'm more honest, I just say I was sissy. I own it. Anyway, my brother and I were there hanging out, being very uncomfortable. I think my brother was probably a little bit ashamed of me, ashamed to be seen with me. So it goes. A kid 3 or 4 years older than me, closer to my brother's age, was dancing with his girlfriend, to whom he said very loudly and sneered in my direction, "Grade A homo." That was 65 years ago. Do you think it hurt? I chose that particular incident because I'm not sure I've shared it publicly before. It's a process. It's a process of talking about this little injury and that little injury, and there are just lots of little injuries. My brother never mentioned it. I was too humiliated to address it myself. I wouldn't have dreamed of telling my parents, wouldn't have dreamed of telling them. At that time, I hadn't realized who my people were, much less to consider that I was one of those people, the grade A homos. But if you look like a duck, squawk like a duck, you might as well fly like only a duck can fly. I love the bit about celebrating because we do know how to celebrate. With that story, I've given you several reasons why my people have to talk so much about it. First, being able to talk about it takes away some of the sting. Every time I tell these stories, it hurts a little bit less. Second, you can't find your people if you are too busy being unseen and unheard. I did a lot of hiding out, and you may never fly. Third, give some thought to that perfectly normal young person standing over to the side, watching what's going on. What might I have said or done, in your opinion, for the sake of that person? Oh, hell, forget that unidentified third person. What might I have said or done for my own sake? Please think about that for just a minute. I mean, all kinds of things come to mind. You know, I can think of many hateful responses to that. I bet you can too. But I can't think of a single thing that would have improved that situation for me. And I can't think of anything, if you had been there, that you could have done to have improved that situation for me. Much as you may have wanted to rescue me, you could not. My people must rescue themselves. You can console and you can support, but each one of my people must find their own way. Please provide a safe place and a podium so that my people may feel heard and loved. Fly our flag of many colors along with the Black Lives Matter flag out front of our church. But you can't fight our battles for us. Like many of my people, when I hide who I am, I tell myself, you wouldn't like me if you knew me. But I found a man who knew me and loved me, and we built a marriage. What was your role? You celebrated our marriage right here in this auditorium. It was filled with people. It was filled with people. I've been told by parents that some of our kids standing among you unrecognized as belonging to my people were inspired by the example they saw. I hope so. It pleases me. When AIDS interrupted the great party my people were enjoying, all manner of people stepped in. My people, not so much. We were afraid. But I had read Paul Manette's books, their Borrowed Time, Halfway Home, and Last Watch of the Night. He was an author who contracted AIDS and died from AIDS. I heeded his admonition to stand up, get tested, acknowledge your gayness. Larry didn't want to know his HIV status. I got tested anyway. Because he asked me to, I waited to get my result until he could get his test, and we would get our result at the same time. We were, excuse me, we were both negative. But a number of our friends were not given that same good news. What do you do in that case? I was unable to expect that other people would take care of my people if I didn't do it myself. Larry supported me while I went back to school to the Vanderbilt University School of Nursing and started a new career as a research nurse working with HIV drug trials. You know what? It was one of the best things I have ever done for myself. I needed to help, and I poured myself into the work. I was at that job from 1992 until 2010. My coworkers at my retirement gave me that teak bench that Kristen is sitting in at the back of the room. Along with the dates, it says, for all the lives you touched. I like that. There was nothing like an AIDS epidemic to open closet doors. Leaders of my people rose proud and angry to stir us. I remember the short mountain fairies in pink tutus on one of the very first gay pride parades in Nashville. I hadn't seen anything like that. Larry and I made the March on Washington in 1993 and saw the moving display of the AIDS quilt on the lawn of the National Mall. I joined the Human Rights Campaign on that trip. I got a card from them last week thanking me for my 30 years of membership, 30 years of membership in the Human Rights Campaign, and for the $4,869 I contributed over that period of time. I didn't know they were counting. Is that a hoot? That is a hoot. I am also a card-carrying member of the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Americans United, and the Interfaith Alliance. Larry and I endowed a Stonewall Award given by the American Library Association each year for the outstanding books for children and young adults. And there are 2 awards, one for children and one for youth. I mentioned these things to brag a little bit, but also to give you a sense of what can be done without taking to the streets. There are all manner of things that you can do, and most of them, the majority of them are going to be little things, just little things that aren't hard to do and that don't hurt you financially. I always contribute to the Nashville Cares AIDS Walk. Although it's been several years since I actually walked, when I did, it was in the good company of the people of this congregation. And we did that for the Pride March each year too. Our amazing youth group was always the center of those marches. GNUUC has done a wonderful job of encouraging me to do things that were good for me. And I hope together we have all been a good example for our youth, whether or not they are LGBTQ+. And we change course just a little bit. It's just coincidentally that today my gay men's book group will be discussing The Naked Civil Servant, the autobiography of Quentin Crisp, this afternoon. I want to share these quotes from his book. 1, abatement in the hostility of one's enemies must never be thought to signify that they have been won over. It only means that one has ceased to constitute a threat. I have found it true that the defenders of God and morality are far less interested in me in my old age than they were when I was young and attractive. Second, tolerance is the result not of enlightenment, but of boredom. I like tolerance myself, no matter what the cause. However, I'm sorry to see hatred work its way through the entire LGBTQ acronym. My people are going to talk about it long enough for it to become boring. A University of Chicago study shows that 40% of youth experiencing homelessness are LGBTQ. A significant portion of them are trans. The ACLU reports there are 491 pieces of anti-LGBTQ legislation currently being considered around the United States. A significant portion of them are aimed at trans individuals. What does all of this mean to our church? Well, gay men like me were prominent among the founding members of this church, and we've been active all along and still are. Until the pandemic kicked everything in the head, we regularly participate in the Nashville Cares AIDS Walk, as well as the Pride Parade. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we completed a UUA developed program to verify that we were receptive to and respectful of LGBTQ persons. We have regularly presented aspects of the Our Whole Lives curriculum, which is our sex education program for all ages. Our teens benefited especially from the portion of that program designed for them. I am especially proud that I was invited to co-teach the very first Our Whole AIDS Life program for teens offered by GNUUC. I took it as a tribute that parents trusted a gay male to teach sex education to teenagers. I earned that trust. You can investigate me till the cows come home. I loved the kids, but not in a way that was unhealthy. Unitarian Universalism has been a leader among denominations throughout the brief span of enlightenment regarding LGBTQ issues. Unitarians ordained their first female minister in 1863. If you saw the newspaper today, you know the Baptists have already defellowshipped congregations that have a female minister, and they're fighting over it right now. 1863 doesn't seem that long ago, but 1863 as compared to 2023, that's quite a span. UU's ordained their first openly gay minister in 1979. And you know that has split the Methodist denomination into, or at least into two parts. And that's currently going on. UU's ordained their first openly transgender minister in 1988. And I'm not sure any other denomination has done that. Roughly 5% of UU ministers identify as LGBTQ. UU ministers have performed ceremonies of union since 1984. And our denomination adopted the 7 principles in 1985, the first of which is the inherent worth and dignity of each person. It's also in today's paper. The Anglican Church has urged Ugandan Anglicans to reject an anti-homosexual law, noting the movement of their denomination to accept the dignity of all persons. In 2007, our General Assembly passed a resolution affirming the inclusion of transgender persons, just in case anybody doubted they were included in all of the past actions. In summary, I say to you, my people, thank you. Thank you. You've done a great job of supporting LGBTQ folks Make no mistake, you are my people. And I am proud to claim you. Most times when I'm at church, I don't give a thought to my sexual orientation or to that of any of you. I still need to talk about it from time to time because it has not yet become boring to the world at large. It makes a difference to those who visit our church that we make it clear that we accept not just LGBTQ folks, but all manner of people, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I am very proud of us. Thank you for listening to me today. Sorry.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how